It's McWah. Hell yeah. Just jumped in on track 4. Birds. I love this fucking band, man. Yeah, this can be black metal, yeah. My wife said, she said, this is like trance black metal. Like if trance all of a sudden decided to want to do black metal, or black metal wanted to do trance. I'm like, yeah, dude, yeah. It's very trance-like. That drummer's got some crazy fills. That one needs it. And those feet are just non-stop. Just diggity. That's some stamina. That's some fucking endurance. A drummer's fucking killer. But the rest of the band sounds amazing. Like, that this all blends together very nicely. I'd probably pay like an insane amount of money to see McWah live. But I'd want him headlining. I would want them at a concert, not a festival. I don't even care if a ticket price is worth $50. I'd be like, all right, give me some cool bands and we'll do it. Like Dead by Dog, a short fest. 5 bands. And you just go out there and showcase their music, and that's it. And then the last guy gets to have a great performance. Yeah, that's how I like my festivals. Like 2 and 3 day events. I'm like, oh god. Now you have to pick which days you're going to show up to. Can you do it all? Do you want to? Ugh. Alright, chat, let's jump into the comments. Oh yeah, CX. Yeah, man, you were stationed at Fort Campbell. Hell yeah, man. I know that place. But you got to see Coat Hanger Abortion play in the 2006 to 2008 era. Nice. I have a Coat Hanger Abortion album. That's cool. Yeah. Campbell. Ugh. Any military base is just a level of fucking weird. Anybody else live near a military base or in one of those towns? Is anybody a military brat? I've known a few of those over the years. Once I find out that they're military brat, I'm like, okay, cool, I know how to deal with you. I know exactly how to talk to you. And they're like, yeah, I was, and I'm like, no, I've known so many over the years that it's no big thing to me. Wow, that's a big one. Dude, Mexico. Hola, Mexico. Some news for Mexico. Mexico just got new biometric ID, like, for, like, everything. Like, that is now a form of payment or form of everything. Like, you don't even need to carry a wallet. It all could be done biometrically. They now have that, and they're like, it's not mandatory, but there's a lot of shit you can't access unless you do it. I was saying this shit on like Twitter and shit, on X rather. On X, I was saying this to people for a while. Like, there's gonna be a choice. That's how they're gonna get you. And either force you into it or force you away from them. Man, I knew the new segregation was coming. It's gonna be digital based. See, now here's the problem with choice. If one choice is no good and you end up harming people for having chosen that, then that's no choice at all. So this has to be reciprocal. This has to be fair. This has to be equitable. to either choose that system or to not choose that system. Elon Musk with his like going to Mars and all that. Now we got digital ID in Mexico that's not mandatory. Fuck y'all, here it comes. The choice is gonna have to be made. And I don't know much about the choices or much about the people that are giving you the choice. That's the problem. There's always somebody giving you a choice. What I hate about politicians. They don't give you a choice, they give you a choice. Man, there was a scumbag, no, he wasn't a preacher, he was a politician. Well, my wife just told me about this one. And it was about abortion. And the guy admitted, like, it was like, there's no way we're going to solve the abortion issue in our lifetime. And even the news guy was like, what do you mean? You could solve that? Oh, cat, no. Oh, my God, cat. He's like, oh, no, you could solve that. Just go out. He's like, what's the choice? You know? And the guy was like, pro-choice. And they're like, okay, well, you can end it. If enough people voted pro-choice, then that's how it would be. It's not going to take a lifetime. It's just going to take, literally, put that to a vote. It's never been brought up to a vote for the people. Everything hinged on a judicial decision, which can be gotten rid of through a law that says that thing's not true or is true. And that's happened. And that's how we got some of our amendments. So no choice. It's not a choice if both your choices are screwed. You know? The South Park did that one, that turd sandwich and the douche, the giant douche and a turd sandwich. Talking about a presidential candidates. It's like, yeah, but it's so presidential and prime minister or whatever you have. Like, that's just for show, man. That's just kind of a flex, you know. The people that really have been making decisions were elected a long time ago and did the things they needed to do to make this life possible. And the rest of these guys are just keeping you away from how bad and in what way you've lost control of the government. And government has run wild. Government across the world has run wild as government. It is now a business of government. That is now the business of the ruling class. And it's worldwide. Well, so is the concerted effort to get rid of it. Man, it's like watching a world war and a culture war all in one. How about that? Man, I remember this fucking, man, living in Houston, dude, we had that mega preacher, Osteen. Anybody ever heard of that dude, Osteen? Does anybody have like a mega preacher in their town that they remember? Because I know no matter where you are, there is one. It's just Osteen got really popular. That one church he has in Houston, that used to be a venue for the Houston Rockets basketball team. It also had concerts in there. I saw concerts in there. I saw White Zombie in there. White Zombie and Filter, and then Pantera and White Zombie. And then I swear I've seen other concerts in there too. Maybe not, I don't remember. But Nine Inch Nails played there. Obviously White Zombie, obviously Pantera. But Nine Inch Nails was another big one. Sepultura played there when they toured with Pantera. So Pantera had a previous time. I think it was with Sepultura. A buddy of mine went to that one. So just knowing all those bands had played inside that mega church, you know, I mean, they changed up on the stage and the seating and everything, but it's just, that's funny to me. Migwa. Does anybody think clones live amongst us? Am I the only one? I'm curious about cloning. I have some questions about it. Mainly, why don't we know anything about it? Like, back a long time ago, they cloned that goat, Dolly, or a sheep, or whatever. They call it Dolly, or whatever. And it was like, it was successful, and then it died. And they were like, well, I guess that's what cloning does. And then a lot of places said you can't clone, like, literally outlawed cloning. And then I found out that a giant flotilla had been put together. A flotilla is just a bunch of boats tied together. And then they, like, created, like, this floating lab in international waters because they'd been banned from every country. So they just went, a bunch of boats got together, tied together, stayed out there for, who knows how long. More than months, like years. That's how long these boats started getting, and they started tying them together. They started adding more, and then just bringing them closer together to where it was like this floating base. I don't know what happened from that point on, but you start hearing about cloning in the news again. Oh yeah, they started to make little hybrid animals. Of like a dire wolf and a modern wolf. Oh man, that's so gross. And that genetic science stuff is so sickening to me. I mean, it's like Jurassic Park, you know. But just they started small. Ugh, that shit makes my stomach turn, y'all. I'm not even joking. Everybody thinks, oh, that's not the same thing. It's just like in vitro fertilization or whatever. It's like, yeah, dude, that's all genetic enhancing stuff. That's like all genetically modifying something. That's all. That's how that all starts. And then now you're making clones of this thing. Yeah, it's like, oh, now we're just doing this. That combining of DNA is a very strange and bizarre and dangerous thing. The only reason I think clones walk amongst us is because there's those old megalithic statues in like Egypt and all over the fucking world, like, even down in like Thailand and shit. Like, you see that DNA helix symbol. It's like two serpents, and you see that double helix everywhere. And, but you don't see it. You see it in some places, but you don't see it in a lot of places. But it is all over the world. That symbol is found all over the world. But it's not in every single place. It's only in a couple different places throughout the world. So, see that one. And then there's other ones that are like the opposite. Opposite because the characters reference their bellies. And I'm thinking that's because they have a belly button, which you need if you've been in the womb. And that means you were born, not grown. If you were grown, you wouldn't have one. You wouldn't have a need for it. It's just a scar, you know. The scar of birth. So yeah, you find the references to the belly, I think, is the belly button. And then you got that double helix. I think a long time ago we might have figured out how to do this on another scale. And that separated society into two great societies, but also warring. And that's all that's left of them, is this giant shit they built. It's like, it's been here so long, we're not even really sure how long it's been there. Everybody's like, oh, it's been here since just a few thousand years. It's like, but that was the culture that was found inhabiting the area. They didn't build that. They admitted they built on top of it. They added to it what was left of it. Earthquakes destroy some of it. But it takes earthquakes to destroy all that. Like the ones in South America, like some of them have like major shifting. It's like that's giant shifting of the planet. Like it didn't just happen on this mountain; it happened throughout a continent, and perhaps even the plate itself shifted. Like, dude, that's a tremendous amount of energy being released right there. If you watch that movie 2012 with John Cusack, which is a silly movie, it's great special effects, but just a silly movie, but because it's just an exaggerated form of what that was to cause that down in South America. It's like, yeah, that would have been felt worldwide, but, you know, we don't know how, like, damaging long-term that could have been. They just don't know the ecological impacts of that. You know, do you get clouds of smoke that, you know, prevent crops from being grown in a certain area? Causes little mini dark ages. One of those giant cultural and civilization resets. You know, there's a tale of a bottleneck of the human DNA. Human beings were reduced to 5,000 breeding pairs or something like that. 5,000 people, male and female. That restarted humanity. Like, fuck me, man. Is that true? Yeah, it's kind of true. And it was like 75,000 years ago, I think. Or roughly around that. Where some people will carry water and be like, oh, that's completely natural when people just huddle together in large groups. It's like, yeah, it's like rats fleeing a ship, dude. They're just, the ship they're fleeing is Earth. Yeah. I think that'll happen to us. They'll be like, all right, humanity can only, they'll talk about overpopulation. They'll talk about that all day long. But they're like, some of us have to leave Earth and go live somewhere else, and the rest of you can live here happy, but we can't all live together. What if that's it, man? Like, what if that's the big choice you have to make? What if that's a choice that's been made before? That's all I'm saying. Some giant thoughts for today. McWah. With hearts towards none. Love it. Definitely. I would say this album right here, past the 2000s, this is definitely one of my favorite albums. This one right here. Did it come out in the 21st century? What's the first thing you need to hear if someone's like, welcome to the 21st century? What would be the first thing you, metalhead, what would you show them? First I'd be like, oh, no. Start here. Welcome to the 21st century. Time-faring person, time-traveling person. This is going to set up the 21st century. Yeah, it's kind of this dystopian. Next level dystopian. It's like the Matrix when you find out it's like multiple generations. And then it wasn't even generations, it was even bigger than that. It was like entire civilizations. And eras and epochs of them. All flowing through the ebb of time. Never allowed to go too low, never allowed to get too big. Ooh. McWah, with hearts towards none. Yeah. This is how I like my fucking black metal. Now this is fucking black metal right here. This is everything. This is just extreme music. The peak of extreme music for me, at least in the 21st century. It's got a dark, beat you down vibe. But that overall beat with those kicks just keep you in the long run. Like, gotta keep going. Like, I've been moving and fighting for so long, I don't remember anything else. That's how I want to be. Just so damn tired, I don't remember anything else. Just keep punching your way forward. Oh, yeah. Dying on your feet gloriously in combat. This is the soundtrack for that. Hell yeah, and I'm your champion. Cattle Prod, Appalachian Warlord. See you next time.